Students who become fluent in English are doing more than just studying. Let's find out what they are doing and get you on the road to English fluency. Students who become fluent in English are doing more than just studying, whether it's studying with books, wordless, audio files, videos, or whatever. Yes, they're studying, but they know certain things, and they're doing certain things in addition to studying. These are very small things, small nuggets of knowledge, but once you know them, it's going to change the way you study and help you become a lot more fluent in English. My name is Ajay. I'm from the YouTube channel Practo English, helping you to develop your speaking skills in a fun and professional way so you can become a more confident speaker of English. In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things that fluent speakers of English, and I mean students, not native speakers, know and do that mean they study in a different way. And once you know these things, it's really going to help you become more fluent as you study. Let's jump straight into it. Number 1, be intentional. I mean, when you are reading or listening to English, do you know why you are doing it? See, many students just turn on a video and they start watching, "Oh, I'm listening to English." But why? Are they listening to learn certain vocabulary on a topic? In which case, probably subtitles would be a good idea. Are they listening just to repeat some words and improve their pronunciation? Are they focusing on listening for the general meaning? In this case, turn off your subtitles. Or are you just listening kind of as background music to get the melody and the sound of English to relax? There are different reasons why you're listening or practicing any skill, and you need to know what your goal is. Why are you doing it? Be intentional. Don't just listen. Know why. You know, when I was learning Mandarin, I listened to Mandarin Chinese for a month, more than a month, without understanding a word. I just had my earphones and my cassette. All right, yeah, my cassette. It was last century, literally 1999, and I would just listen. I had no idea what they were saying, but I just got the sound and the melody. My goal was to get the sound and the melody of Chinese, and it revolutionized my listening skills and my pronunciation in the long term. It's the same with speaking, right? When you're speaking English, what's your goal? To practice fluency or practice accuracy. Because if you're practicing fluency, don't worry about mistakes. But if you're practicing accuracy, don't make mistakes. Get it right. But you can speak more slowly. So, be intentional. It's really important when you are listening, speaking, or reading to know what your goal is. Why are you doing it? I could probably I could probably make a whole video about that, just being intentional. Maybe I will do that in the future. This is point number 1, be intentional. Number 2, processing language takes time. You can't just study a word and use it straight away. Some of my students come to me and say, "Sir, I've just learned these new phrases. I'm trying to use them today in a conversation in the breakout rooms, and I can't use them properly." And I say, I know, because processing language takes time. When you learn a word, it comes into your head. It takes time to settle and to be there. It will be influenced by your listening, reading, and speaking. Over time, it settles and you can use it better, but it takes time. So, yes, learn words and practice them, but review and come back and give the words and language time to settle, right? What you need to change is your expectations. Don't expect to use it perfectly straight away. It's a bit like cooking. I don't know if you've ever made it. My wife makes this baozi, these steamed dumplings. You get the flour and the water and the yeast and you make the dough, right? You have the dough like your vocabulary, but then you leave it covered for about 2 hours to rise and then you can use it. If you try and use it straight away, it's all doughy. It doesn't work. It's like language and vocabulary. It needs time to settle. It's the same thing. So, be aware that processing language takes time. Study and practice, but just change your expectations. It will take time to use fluently. Number 3, expose yourself to more English. The chances are you are not listening enough and reading enough in English. Very, very few students read enough and listen enough. The ones who do become fluent. Think about it. Think about learning your own native mother tongue. The hours and hours of watching TV as a kid, the days and days of listening to your parents talk to you, the years of listening to teachers educate you all in your mother tongue. All of that time, that exposure helps you become fluent. And it's the same in English. You need lots of exposure, listening and reading, watching films. Remember I talked about processing to help the vocabulary and the language settle in your brain and become you? It takes time, and it's influenced by exposure to English, listening, reading, and watching. So, if you're a student, just using your course book is not enough. When you get to that intermediate level and above, you need to be reading novels, watching films, listening to podcasts, and authentic material in the language. Expose yourself to more English, and then you have a chance to become fluent. Number 4, notice. What I mean by notice is really being curious and looking at things and noticing things. There's a famous polyglot, Steve Kaufman, and part of his methodology is noticing, and I couldn't agree more. It's when you read and listen and notice the language. Don't only read and understand, but notice. Notice the collocations. Ooh, that's interesting. Notice the grammar. Ooh, interested in not interested on. Notice the patterns of language. Notice the word stress, the intonation. Be curious about all of these things and notice them. So, you're not only passively reading, you're actively noticing things about the language. And to help you absorb that, sometimes it's a good idea just to repeat. If you read and go, oh, interested in English. Interested in, it is the preposition. Interested in, I'm interested in English. And just do some simple repetition, whether it's the grammar, the collation, or the pronunciation, right? Be curious, notice, and do a little repetition. And this, wow, it's one of the most powerful ways you can improve your English. And I think that's why it's the cornerstone of Steve's methodology. Notice. Number 5, learning is messy, so accept it. Messy, I mean untidy, right? When we begin learning a language, you begin learning English. In the beginning, you're learning words, and maybe you're building the words and sentences, and you're getting better. And we think, well, learning is a linear line. You know, you start with the present tense, then you learn the past tense, and then the future tense, and then the present perfect, and it goes on. But actually, learning is not a straight line. Remember, processing takes time for the language to settle. And so, actually what happens is some days you feel great and you learn lots of words and you can speak fluently, and then the next day you forget all the words and you can't. You just can't speak. It's messy, it's normal, accept it. Actually, learning a language is more like the stock market. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, but the trend is going up. That's the important thing. Once you know that, you can accept it. But just learning is messy. Accept it. Make it fun. Of course, make sure your learning is fun, because if you are enjoying your learning, you're going to be more motivated and your learning is deeper. We know that from research. So, enjoy your learning. You know, becoming fluent, it's a marathon, and if you're not enjoying it, you're going to give up. At the moment, I'm learning French. Well, I'm relearning French. I'm brushing up on the French that I learned years ago, and I make it fun. I've joined a course. Every week we have these groups that we go to online and chat with each other. I take the topic of the week, for example, media. I go to ChatGPT, and in French, I ask for a list of 10 essential words for that topic with some sentences. Ba 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 ba. Then I take those and put it into voice software. There are some free ones. I use play, eat, and in a French voice, I get the audio of those sentences. Then I listen to them and I practice speaking to them. Then I go into the class and use them, and it's great. It's so much fun. It's awesome. On top of that, I'm looking for podcasts where I like the voice. I'm interested in the topic. Read things you're interested in. Watch things you're interested in. Just enjoy the learning because it is a marathon, and if you're not enjoying yourself, you're going to give up. So, if you want to become fluent, make your learning fun. Number 7 is to create a habit. This can be a reading habit, a study habit, a speaking habit, whatever it is. Create the habit by saying or choosing a time, a day, and a place where you're always going to do the activity. Maybe it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. I read my book in English for 10 minutes, and if you do that consistently for a month, it will become a habit. And after a month, you don't need to think about it, you just do it. Create a habit. Of course, making it fun, you're much more likely to create a habit if it's fun and you're enjoying yourself, right? So, all these things kind of work together. Create a habit. Number 8, balance fluency and accuracy. Now, I mentioned fluency and accuracy earlier, and it's important to balance these two things. One thing to be aware of is that to become fluent, you need to practice fluency, meaning you just speak. But many students speak and then stop themselves. Oh, I made a mistake. No, keep speaking. Just focus on speaking fluently and get the ideas out. Don't worry if you make mistakes, but then you need time to focus on accuracy. And to do that, speak more slowly and think about the grammar and the vocabulary. Don't make mistakes, but speak more slowly. And you need a balance of both of these things. So, in your time, if you can practice this time, I'm doing fluency practice. Just speaking, 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 and in this time I'm doing accuracy practice. Balancing these two things will really help you become more fluent as you study English. Number 9 is really important. Ask for feedback. Find people who can give you feedback. This can be a teacher, a friend, a language partner, or somebody who's a bit better at English than you. Get feedback on how you're doing because they can give you tips on how to improve and help you with any mistakes you're making. Without feedback, you may not know what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. So, always ask for feedback. Finally, number 10, be patient with yourself. Learning a language is a long journey and there will be ups and downs. It's important to be patient with yourself and not get discouraged when you face challenges. Remember, everyone learns at their own pace and it's okay to make mistakes. The key is to keep going and not give up. So, there you have it, 10 things that fluent speakers of English know and do that can help you on your journey to becoming more fluent. Be intentional. Understand that processing language takes time. Expose yourself to more English, notice and be curious, accept that learning is messy, make it fun, create a habit, balance fluency and accuracy, ask for feedback, and be patient with yourself. If you incorporate these things into your study routine, you'll see a big difference in your fluency over time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Practo English for more tips and lessons to help you improve your English. Until next time, keep practicing and stay motivated.